There are 823 Pokemon available in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and somehow there are still 292 missing. Alright, yeah, boohoo, Dexit, get over it. It's been 2 generations. Now, fine, whatever, okay? But look, on top of there still being a lot of Pokemon that have basically never been in a Switch Pokemon title, there are also a lot of Pokemon that I just really like, and I think it'd be really cool if I could use them in Scarlet and Violet, and if I could terrestrialize them and have them do unique things they've never done before. So today, we're going to talk about the Pokemon that I wish were in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet the most. I did order these. They might not be in the best order. I'm kind of bad at picking favorites, so we'll see how it goes. And as always, if you like this video, leave me a big fat like, leave me a comment, tell me which Pokemon you wish was in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that is not in it right now. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Alright, the first set of Pokemon, yes, I had to cheat a lot on this list. There's a lot of Pokemon that I really like that are not in the game. The first set of Pokemon missing is the X and Y Legendary Trio. We're talking about Zygarde, we're talking about Yveltal, and we're talking about Xerneas. Yes, that's right. Even Xerneas, I wish was in Scarlet and Violet. Why? Well, I kind of don't think it would be that big of a problem. But really, it's mostly because I want to play like weird co-star shenanigans with Xerneas. I think it'd be really funny if like you set up Xerneas, then you switched in Flamigo with +2 special attack, +2 speed, +2 special defense. I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. Maybe that's a stupid reason, but I really just want to play weird strategies with co-star Flamigo and Xerneas, and that's the only reason that I wish it was here. I think it would be a lot more interesting. It would shake up the meta a bunch, which would be cool, but more so I miss the other 2 Pokemon. So Yveltal, Dark and Flying, it would be so good into all of the Pokemon that are really good right now. I mean, Calyrex Shadow, Calyrex Ice Rider is probably about 50-50. It's probably good into Terrapagos because you can just give it an Assault Vest. You can just click Snarl forever into Terrapagos. It's just so good into all the other restricted Pokemon, and I really feel like Regulation G is missing that kind of like the legendary that's going to sit there and just like eat attacks and like heal itself and like just kind of stop all of the best Pokemon in the format. And I really feel like we're going to miss it even more when we go into dual restricted, probably with Regulation I. And then Zygarde. I like Zygarde. I think Zygarde would be so cool this generation. I mean, again, you can play cool Zygarde strats with your Flamigo because, you know, I'm a big Flamigo fan. But I just think Terrestrialization suits Zygarde so well. Like, its typing is Ground Dragon. It's the same typing as Garchomp. And I really feel like it's primed to just kind of be like restricted Pokemon Garchomp. And Garchomp is so good right now. Not to mention, Zygarde has a spread move that's ground type that can hit flying types, which is like absolutely amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's a shame these Pokemon aren't in Scarlet and Violet. I mean, obviously it's because we're getting Pokemon Legends ZA, and they'll presumably be in Legends ZA. It'd be really weird if it was called ZA and there was no Zygarde, but we might never get to play them in Scarlet and Violet. We might never get to play them in competitive Pokemon in this generation at all. So it really just kind of makes me sad that we don't have them. So that's kind of it. All right, coming in at number 9, we've got Gigalith. Why Gigalith? Because I like Gigalith. That's really the best reason I could give you. But if I were to go further, I would say that Gigalith is a really good sand Pokemon in every way that Tyranitar is not. You see, Tyranitar has a terrible defensive typing. Tyranitar is your terrestrialization hog. Tyranitar is your main offensive Pokemon, right? Gigalith is more like Torkoal. Gigalith is like a supporting sand Pokemon, and yes, we do have Hippowdon, but Gigalith is a rock type. Gigalith gets the special defense boost from sand, and it's about the same speed, but it's still like really offensive. So basically, Gigalith is like the Torkoal of sand Pokemon, whereas Tyranitar plays kind of more like Alolan Ninetales, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but Gigalith is like this slow, like the slow, a little bit beefier cousin to Tyranitar, and I really miss that play style. I really enjoyed using Gigalith a lot in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it makes me sad that I can't use it right now. I really don't have a whole lot of explanation for it. I mean, maybe it's because I have a shiny Gigalith and it's just like burning a hole in my Pokemon home. But I like Gigalith. Like I said, it's kind of like it's a sand Pokemon, it's rock type, right? But it feels like it plays a little bit differently than Tyranitar does. And I miss it because of that. Because Tyranitar, I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of different Tyranitar sets over the course of Scarlet and Violet, but I feel like Gigalith is still so different from any of those Tyranitar sets that I just kind of miss it. All right, number 8 is really stupid. Feel free to call me stupid. It's Linoone. Why is it Linoone? Well, here's the thing, right? Extreme Speed, Terra Normal Extreme Speed has been so good this generation. And there is exactly one Pokemon that already has Stab on Extreme Speed that is not in this generation, and that is Linoone. And you know what else Linoone has? Linoone gets Belly Drum. And it's so sad for me to know that I'll never be able to play Belly Drum Linoone Terra Normal E-Speed, because that just sounds so goddamn funny. I'm just imagining it in my head, and I just, you know, any chance for like regular old Linoone to actually be like a threatening Pokemon would just be so funny, because he's such a silly little guy. And this would have been it. This would have been the gen for Linoone, and we don't have him. He's not here. He doesn't get to be here. And you know, maybe it's because he had a regional form in Sword and Shield, but that regional form doesn't help regular old Linoone, right? Like, as much as I love Obstagoon, there's no Obstagoon of regular Linoone, and it would be just so funny if you could just do the Belly Drum Linoone thing in Scarlet and Violet with Terastallization. All right, number 7 is another one of my funny gimmick boys from Sword and Shield. It's Runerigus. Runerigus got the really short end of the stick in Sword and Shield, okay? Runerigus has the ability, remember it, I knew what it was, but I was afraid to say the wrong thing. Runerigus has the ability Wandering Spirit, which says that anytime that an attack makes contact with Runerigus, Runerigus swaps abilities with the Pokemon that hit it. So that's any like physical contact move, right? We're talking about like Aqua Jet, anything like that. And Runerigus got the short end of the stick because this was an ability that did not work with Dynamax. It was introduced in the same generation as Dynamax, but Dynamax Pokemon are immune to any sort of skill swapping effects, including skill swap itself. So you ended up with this Pokemon who really would have liked to Dynamax and like give itself huge power and trigger a weakness policy at the same time, and that would have been really funny. It would have been a very Dynamax kind of style strategy, right? But Runerigus couldn't do that because Wandering Spirit doesn't work with Dynamax. But it presumably it works with Terra. There's no reason that terrestrial Pokemon would be immune to any sort of skill swapping effect like this. So right now, if we had Runerigus, you could set up your Trick Room and then have your huge power like Terra Ground Runerigus with a weakness policy boost, just like absolutely destroying stuff. And I would love that so much. There's so many really fun, stupid strategies you could do with Runerigus, just because it's a skill swap that you can get without having to actually click the move skill swap. And I just love that sort of thing. Like that's my bread and butter, you know. And I miss Runerigus. I love him. He's one of my little guys. Okay, let's go on to number 6. For number 6, again, we have a pretty big group of Pokemon actually. It's every single Ultra Beast. Ultra Beasts are apparently not legendary Pokemon according to how the game has decided to treat things. Kind of like how Paradox Pokemon are not legendary Pokemon. In my heart and soul, they will be legendary Pokemon forever, but apparently, Ultra Beasts are not legendary Pokemon. And they're not in this game. We have every legendary Pokemon except for all of the Ultra Beasts and a couple of other things that we'll talk about in the XOI trio. And I don't know, I just miss them. I feel like they would be really cool right now. Like a lot of the ones that are been bad in the past, like I don't know, like Pheromosa. Pheromosa is not like a bad Pokemon by any means, but it wasn't very good in Sword and Shield. It was just okay. It was good for like coaching stuff, and it would be good for coaching stuff now, right? But the fact that you could have Pheromosa, who is normally a Pokemon you want to run Sash on, it's really frail, right? Well, now you can run Terra Ghost Pheromosa. You can run Covert Cloak Pheromosa. And I feel like you can get so many weird sets out of Pheromosa with the ability to Terrastallize. That would be really cool. Celesteela would be really good into like a lot of the restricted Pokemon, and like it would have helped a lot in Regulation G. I mean, it would take me forever to go through all of them, but like Kartana would really benefit from Terastallization. I don't know, like I said, we could go through all of them. It would take forever. I think the one I missed the most is probably Stakataka. Having a Pokemon like Stakataka, like we don't have it right now, and that makes me kind of sad because Stakataka Stakataka is basically better Bastiodon, and I really like Bastiodon. I really like Stakataka too. It just being a Pokemon that has like Trick Room and like the move kit that it has, it's just a really interesting Pokemon, and I feel like it would be really good if we had Stakataka. I don't know, I miss it. I wish it was here. All right, number 5, another group, but this time it's only 4 Pokemon. We're going to talk about all of the Tapus, the Island Quartet, or whatever they're called, the Guardians of Alola. The Guardians of Alola. Yo, man, it really just comes down to terrain. Like, we don't have a good electric terrain setter. Yeah, we have Pincurchin. Yeah, in Regulation G, we have Miraidon, right? But what if I wanted to run all my future Paradox Pokemon without having to run Miraidon or Pincurchin? Because Pincurchin's not good, and Miraidon's only in restricted formats, and I don't want to run restricted formats. Like, yeah, I guess you could run, like, Prankster Thundurus or something with Electric Surge. That's not good. That's just weird. That's I'm doing this for the gimmick. You know, that's a thumbnail kind of thing, right? Tapu Koko would be so good. It probably would still have Electro Web, and it would just be fast, and it would set up terrain, and honestly, it would be like a little miniature Miraidon. You could run it with Miraidon, and be super cool. Tapu Lele probably wouldn't get Expanding Force still, right? But a Psychic Terrain setter like Tapu Lele, who's just still really offensive, and like kind of fast, I would much rather be able to lead, you know, like Iron Crown Tapu Lele than Iron Crown with Indeedee. It just sounds a lot more offensive, a lot scarier. Tapu Lele gets a lot of interesting support moves that Indeedee doesn't get. And there you go. You can do like all sorts of things. And plus it's a fairy type, which is, you know, a little bit better into like the dark types and stuff that normally deal with your Expanding Force teams. It just sounds cool. Tapu Fini being the only good Misty Terrain setter, not being in this game, sucks. Like, yeah, I've done my fair share of Galarian Weezing testing, and it's decent, right? But it's not Tapu Lele. You know what I mean? It just doesn't quite fill the same niche. And then I like Tapu Bulu. I wish Tapu Bulu was better. Maybe with Terra it would be better. I don't know. But the fact that it doesn't have any like stab moves it can click that are like a good type. It doesn't have any physical fairy type moves really is the problem. But maybe it would have gotten Play Rough this generation. Who knows? It is just still worse than Rillaboom, I think, even if it has Play Rough. All right, we're moving up. We're going up one more. Number 4 is Nidoking. Right? What a weird Pokemon to be at number 4. Nidoking, I think I just miss, mostly in Regulation H, I want to say, right? Nidoking is basically everything that Landorus Incarnate is, but Nidoking, right? Like, you still have Sludge Bomb Earth Power stuff. You're still, like, pretty fast. I think Nidoking, I honestly couldn't tell you what Nidoking's base speed is off the top of my head. What is it? It's only 85. Ooh, that kind of sucks. But in Reg H, I think it would be okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Nidoking is like discount Landorus Incarnate, right? And we've had Landorus Incarnate. Landorus Incarnate has been really good. Nidoking would be the Landorus Incarnate of Regulation H, and I think that's just why I miss it. Maybe it shouldn't be this high on the list, but I don't know. I think Nidoking's really cool, and obviously it can do more than just Earth Power Sledge Bomb stuff, right? Its ability, Sheer Force, applies to like Rock Slide. It applies to like other moves. Maybe Nidoking would even get like Headlong Rush or something, who knows? But, which obviously wouldn't be Sheer Force boosted, but that's beside the point. I feel like Nidoking would have been really cool as just like a mon that is poison and ground type. It resists like Fairy, which is something that we've like sorely been missing because Fluttermane's just all over the place. This is a mon that like you could throw a Choice Scarf onto and absolutely destroy like a Chi-Yu Fluttermane lead. And I think sometimes that's just what you need. So I was editing this video and I realized that I completely skipped number 3. I don't know how that happened. So here I am recording number 3. Number 3 is going to be Alolan Marowak, or regular Marowak if you want, but really it's mostly Alolan Marowak for me. All generation, really. I feel like I've been missing Alolan Marowak. It's just got like such a nice typing into a lot of things. It's got such a nice like speed stat for Trick Room teams. This is a Pokemon that if we had it, maybe would like be worse than Ursaluna in a lot of situations, but it would still be so good. Like, Alolan Marowak underspeeds Calyrex Ice, which means it can hit Calyrex Ice for super effective damage and do big stuff, and Calyrex Ice can't really hit it back. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like part of it, but like, it's really just been the whole generation. Like the slowest Pokemon that we have right now, right? They're all like base 50 speed. Like, yeah, we have a couple of Pokemon that are still at 30, but like really our main Trick Room sweepers right now are like base 50 speed, and Alolan Marowak is slower than that. So it would just be really nice to have Alolan Marowak. It's base 45 speed, which means it underspeeds, you know, all the Ursalunas, all of the Iron Hands, all of those things, and like those Pokemon don't really hit it back. It's Ghost and Fire type. It hits Calyrex Ice Rider, like, super hard in Trick Room. It's slower than it. It can hit it really hard because, you know, it's Fire and Ghost type, and it can hold big clubs. So it's just doing, like, massive amounts of damage. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like just, like, a slow Pokemon like Alolan Marowak with Alolan Marowak's typing and move pool would just be really, really good right now. And I'm sad that we don't have it, and that's kind of it. It just, I feel like it would be really good, and it would really, like, move the meta into a more, like, healthy direction as far as, like, especially, like, as far as Reg G is concerned, because, like, it's really hard to compete with Calyrex Ice Rider. Not a lot of things underspeed it that can really do big damage to it, and Alolan Marowak is one of those things. All right, number 2 is Aegislash. Aegislash is a really cool Pokemon, and again, Aegislash kind of got the short end of the stick in Sword and Shield, right? It did have some usage, but it again had ability that didn't really work with Dynamax, so it kind of like ended up taking the back seat a lot of the time. Aegislash's ability, Stance Change, makes it so that every time you click an attacking move, you switch to the attacking form, and every time you click specifically King's Shield, you change to your defensive form, and it like switches your stats around. But Max Guard is not King's Shield, so Aegislash ended up like not being as good. And right now, I think in Scarlet and Violet, it would be absolutely an insane Pokemon. Like with Terra, on top of having like one of the best. Okay, look at Goldengo, right? Goldengo is like the Aegislash of this generation. Obviously, it has a little bit higher stats. It has a crazy ability. It has Make It Rain, which is an absolutely stupid move. But in all other ways, Goldengo is basically Aegislash. Except Aegislash gets the benefit of being basically like max bulk and max attack at the same time if you play it right. And Goldengo doesn't get to do that. Goldengo has to click in Nasty Plot and stuff. Obviously, Aegislash can click Swords Dance, but physical Aegislash would be, I think, just as good as Goldengo, if not like way better. And I don't know. I think Aegislash would be super good right now. It's a super cool Pokemon too, and like it didn't really get the shine in Sword and Shield. So it's hard, it's just hard, like, that it's not in this game when it would probably shine a lot. And I feel like the only reason it's not in this game is because they gave us Goldengo, and that kind of makes me angry. All right, number 1, you're all going to be mad at me because, like, if you know me, you probably could have seen this coming from a mile away. It's all 4 of the Galarian fossil Pokemon. I absolutely love these guys. I know, it's been less than a whole generation without them, okay? But look. You look at me and tell me that Terra Water Slush Rush Arctivish would not absolutely eat in this game. It would be so fun to play. And like really, the snow is here, right? Snow is amazing. Snow is great for all these ice type Pokemon. And we didn't get Arctivish. And it's basically the best Slush Rush Pokemon, at least in my eyes. I mean, Titan's really good and really cool, but it kind of needs to get Belly Drum set up. Arctivish can just go, right? And especially if Arctivish got Ice Spinner. Yo, man. Ice Spinner, Vicious Rend, Protect, 4th move. I would be running Arctivish up and down every single regulation. It would be one of my favorite things to play. Well, especially now they have Alolan Ninetales. Like, I would just be running Arctivish all over the place. And not to mention, you know, Tyranitar also kind of is hurting for, like, Sand Rush Pokemon. Like, obviously, Lycanroc, surprisingly, was good for a long time, just with, like, Sash and Endeavor and stuff. But, like, Lycanroc's not great. Lycanroc is the same typing as Tyranitar, you know? Like, it obviously has its drawbacks. Excadrill, again, is really cool, really good, but it has its drawbacks, right? It has a lot of the same weaknesses as Tyranitar. Dracovish, Dracozolt, they don't have any of those drawbacks. They don't share any weaknesses with Tyranitar. And you could just throw a Dracovish on a Tyranitar team and just go. Like, honestly and truly, just smack things. Terra Water, Vicious Rend in the sand. I don't care. Is it stupid? But I don't care. I like this Pokemon too much. I don't care. Look, man. If Booster Energy Fluttermane can exist in this generation, I don't think Vicious Rend is a problem. Like Specs Terra Fairy Moonblast is basically a Vicious Rend, and you don't have to work as hard for it. You got to work a little bit harder for Dracovish. But yeah, I don't know. Shout out to the electric ones too. They're cool. I really do like Arctozolt and Dracozolt. I just don't like them as much as the fish Pokemon. But yeah, I guess that's my whole list. Was this a cohesive list? Was it coherent? I don't know, man. That's not for me to tell. That's for me to judge, try to fix it in post, I guess. Did you enjoy this video? Remember to leave a like, leave me a comment. Tell me which Pokemon that is not in Scarlet and Violet that you're missing the most. And subscribe. This video is going to take a little bit more work than I would like to get out, and it's probably not going to do as well as I would like. So if you want to tell me that I need to make more videos like this, I need to just eat the views loss, right? You need to subscribe, because the only way I'm going to know that people like this video. But with that, everybody, my name is Andrew. I'll catch you guys next time. A very special thank you to all of the certified AndyLa fans, especially the AndyLa VIPs, including Colton and Cosmic Pharaoh. Once upon a time, man, I heard that I was struggling. Came from a gen where power creep wasn't coming in. Face long, stats tight, defense up, shack height. Sturdy on me, sash like, got the TM last night. Hit me with that good move, make this mount act right. Bast boys, better hit that builder. I know that's right, big bast, but